All right, so now we want to take a look at another feature to work with the colors and the luminance distribution of our photographs. And these are the curves, Okay, so what we're going to find with pretty much all of these different tools that we work with in Photoshop with adjusting our images, we can come on into image adjustments and we see we have our curves right here. But really the place where we want to go to do all this is going to be into our adjustments window. If you don't have your adjustments window, come to Window, Adjustments, and there we have it. Now, Photoshop is a tricky program because what we'll find is we can do a bunch of things the same exact way. We can also get these curves. So this is a little picture for the curves. We can also get these curves by coming on up to here, clicking this, and coming on down and hitting curves. And there we have it. Now, when we do this on our properties panel, this is what we begin to see. So we look at this image. This image is kind of a little bit boring. You know, it's a nice image, took with my iPhone. And, you know, it's kind of just washed out. So what I want to do is create more visual interest. I want to actually work on creating more contrast. And when we think of contrast, we're thinking of the luminance. Okay, now, so what I could do is I could come in here and I could go to the defaults. I could say, okay, I want to have strong contrast. This is what Photoshop does automatically. It creates this more vivid contrast. Now, when that happens, I can see that the curves here have changed. So this is my black slider, and this is over the whole image, 255 luminance. This would be my white. And here I can see with this curve, I can see these are the other points. Now, if I wanted to click on this point, I could start moving that up. That's more of like a middle value, and darkening some things. I always want to be careful to not make things to not work so well. So we get a little bit more info because we have sliders right to left, and we also have them top to bottom. Now, what else we could do is we could set the whole contrast of the whole image. Let me go back to where I was. I'm going to reset to the adjustment defaults. So just that nice default of strong contrast worked nicely. Now what I might want to do with this entire image is I might want to reset the shadow point and the highlight point. So I could come on in here and say, okay, this is my darkest dark. And now I'm going to reset the highlights. I'm going to say, here's my lightest light. All right, now a lot of times what you're going to want to do though is really zoom in and get that pixel. Now I could say, okay, where are my middle values? Okay, that turned the whole image very blue. Don't like that too much. Maybe don't like that one too much, but we can play around and choose different things. Now, let's say this, I'm looking at this image, I decided, I really want to create more contrast. Well, let's see what it looks like. So there we can see definitely a much nicer, stronger image. So let's say I wanted to create more of a contrast with the green. I could do that also. I could come to this image, the background image. I come on to select color range. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on in here, and this is what I had before. I'm going to select the green, a green image, green, color green. Every place that is white is selected. I hit OK. All right, so now that's all of my selection. Pretty much a lot of the green, most of the green is selected. Now I can come on over to here, and with this selection, I can do another one of my curves. Voila. Now I have another image. Now I can come on in over to here. Actually, I could do my default, strong contrast, creates it a little bit more. Not going to do that though. I can come on in and move my slider. Say, okay, I want to pull this one down a little bit. I could say my middle, I want to move it up. So when I pull this up, right, I'm getting the values and moving them up a little bit. I could come over to here, pull that down. See how those values that are up in that range are getting darker? I could lighten them up just a little bit. All right, so there we have it. Working with the curves, we can see we have this image right here, this image right here. So there really is a lot that we can do when we work with the curves. Let's just do one more just for fun. So we have this image. Let's see. We have this image right here. Okay, so what we want to do with this image is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come on up in here and we're going to put a curves level on it. Curves. Now, what I can see as I look at this image is I have a lot of values most of the values are concentrated down in here. So what we can do is we can move this, and I could start trying to lighten. Well, that one up in there is getting a little bit too light. If I take this one, move it over a little bit. Now what else I could do, let's actually reset our black point. So I'm going to zoom in, try to get a little bit of a lighter area. So I'm going to maybe get this pixel right here. Oh, reset, and that actually got really black. Don't want to do that. Okay, so I want to reset my black point. Let's see here. Okay, actually, let's go in, let's reset the white point. That might work better for us. So you can even, like, come around and see which one you like best. That's another way to do it. So we reset the white point. Now that actually is kind of starting to feel really washed out. So I'm not even that wild about it. So what I might do is just get rid of this and try it again. All right, so let's try another thing. We can come on into select color range. Let's select this guy right here. Okay, now we've selected a lot of those grays, and we can see we have a lot of this image in the back, except for that highlight right there. We're going to say, okay, now we can see our selection. Now what we're going to want to do is come on into here, and we're going to work with the curves, a lot like the levels, right? Okay, we're going to come on in over in here, and let's see. Let's actually see if we said medium contrast. Okay, a little bit. Let's see, maybe we'll come in and try strong contrast. All right, liking that. Everything's starting to work a little bit more info, a little bit stronger, like that blue in the back starting to stand out a little bit more. All right, now what I want to do is I want to lighten. Let's see what we have here. Good, looking good, excellent. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to select some of this darks and try to define this a little bit more. So I'm going to come on in, select color range. And I have selected all of this. I have this up. Okay. So we can see this is what we have. Now it looks like there's a lot of the blue in there too, but let's give it a whirl. See what happens. So we're going to come on in and we're going to do the curves again. And okay, let's see. Well, let's see. I'm going to come on in here, define things just a little bit more. Right, now they say that when you're working with this, that really your key is to not have too many points. Well, that actually has lightened it up a lot. So we can come on in 1, 2. All right, and again, it's really this fine playing around with these, seeing what you can come up with, creating more interesting compositions, and having a good time as you work. I'll end there. Thanks for listening.